Chapter 5.
Data collection techniques.
This chapter will deal with 3 frequently used data collection techniques: the questionnaire, the interview, and observation. They are data collection techniques or instruments, not research methodologies, and they can be used with more than one methodology. Now, let's tackle first the questionnaire. Pre-questionnaire planning. The planning that should precede the sign of a questionnaire is not that different from the planning that should go into the early development of a research study. Major steps before collecting data. Instrument 1. Define the problem and purpose. 2. Consider previous related research, the advice of experts, and so on. 3. Hypothesize a solution to the problem. 4. Identify the information needed to test the hypothesis. 5. Identify the potential respondents or subjects. 6. Select the best or most appropriate technique for collecting the necessary data. A researcher may elect to use 2 or more techniques and methods to test hypotheses and/or measure variables. This process often is referred to as triangulation. Advantages of the questionnaire. According to American Heritage Dictionary of the English Language, defines as a form containing a set of questions, especially one addressed to a statistically significant number of subjects, as a way of gathering information from a survey. It offers several important advantages over other techniques or instrument for collecting survey data. Disadvantages of the questionnaire. Many researchers also argue that questionnaires lack validity, as they yield information without explanation. Low response rate, as questionnaires may not simply be suitable for some respondents. Constructing the questionnaire. Proper construction of the questionnaire is essential to its success. In general, the researcher must consider his or her information needs and the characteristics of the participants. Type of question according to information needed. In selecting or writing specific types of questions, the researcher must first consider what kind of data he or she needs. The major types of questions, according to the kind of information needed. The major types of questions, according to the kind of information needed, include the following: 1. Factual questions. 2. Opinion and attitude questions. 3. Information questions. 4. Self-perception questions. 5. Standards of action questions. 6. Questions about actual past or present behavior. 7. Project questions. All or most of the items in a questionnaire may be focused on one specific topic and, in aggregate, considered to constitute a scale for the topic of interest. In the typical survey in LIS, however, the questionnaire is likely to consist of a variety of questions addressing a number of components of a broader topic. Type of question according to form. 2 basic types of questions. 1. Open-ended questions. 2. Fixed response or structured question. Question content and selection. Having decided on the type S of questions to be employed, in terms of the information needed and the form of response desired, the researcher must next decide what specific questions to ask. Question wording. The way in which the contents of questionnaire items are worded can also affect their validity and reliability. Sequencing of questionnaire items. Even the sequencing of questions can influence how they are answered. Changes in question order can produce context errors, resulting in substantial differences in responses to the same question. Sources of error. Before continuing with the outline of the procedures for developing a questionnaire, it may be worthwhile to consider some of the types of questionnaire. Evaluating the questionnaire. Once the first draft of the questionnaire has been completed, and before it is actually pretested, it's a good idea to get on experts' opinion of the question. The interview. Developing the interview. The basic steps in developing a standardized or structured interview are not that different from those for developing most other kinds of survey studies. Conducting personal interview. In conducting an interview, the interviewer should attempt to create a friendly, non-threatening atmosphere, much as one does with a cover letter. the interviewer shall do. Introduction to the study. Focus group interviews. This is designed to explore in depth the feelings and beliefs people hold, and to learn how these feelings shape overt behavior. They are called focus groups because the discussions start out broadly and gradually narrow down to the focus of the research. Analysis and reporting of Foucault's group data. The information acquired from focus group interviews is generally used to help researchers understand perceptions and attitudes of the target population. Observations and usability testing. Observe means to watch attentively in a scientific or systematic manner. In an observational study, the current status of a phenomenon is determined not by asking but by observing. Observation is sometimes treated as a research method, sometimes as a data collection technique to be utilized with a research method. There are two basic types of observation. 1. Structured, a more formal technique, often used in quantitative studies to provide systematic description. 2. Unstructured, sometimes equated with participant observation. Usability testing. Evaluating usability involves measuring the degree to which a user can successfully learn and use a system or service. Usability testing is the observation and analysis of users' behavior while they interact with the system or prototype. As new technologies develop, usability testing will become more important to determine if users are able to navigate through the systems and utilize system functionality. This chapter has emphasized three of the most commonly used techniques: the questionnaire, the interview, and observation. In conducting survey research, the researcher has several data collection techniques at his or her disposal. In selecting a specific technique or instrument, the researcher should weigh the various pros and cons of each method.